Okay, what's up YouTube? Welcome to StoryBoardEm. We are a new YouTube channel, hopefully looking to bring you a new YouTube show. So we are a couple of university friends. My name is Uzair and my friend here is,
Hi, I'm Adam.
and basically we are looking to start a sort mini YouTube show where we pitch movie ideas to you guys as if you guys are a movie studio and we are telling you that we want to make this movie. This is how it's going to be. Would you
So,
fund it for us?
so it's a really simple idea, guys. Basically, each episode we're just going to each pitch three pitches each. There's going to be 3 rounds. Each round is going to have certain constraints where we're going to have to work within those constraints to give a pitch, and each round is going to be around a certain theme of something that's usually recently been in the movie news or you've heard about.
Okay, so without further ado, let's begin. And the first round is going to be pitch the Justice League movie. So now, as with all our rounds, this is going to have 3 specific rules assigned to it, and the 3 rules given to this round are: it must follow the Justice League timeline, the Batman vs Superman timeline. So if you haven't seen Batman vs Superman, quick warning, there may be some spoilers. So if you don't want to know them, you pause now. Otherwise, that basically means that at the start of your film, Superman he's basically dead. Or, if you say that scene at the end where the gravel started rising means something else, then you can work that into your pitch. The second rule will be that you must have the same director, so Zack Snyder will still be directing the Justice League film, and you have to have the same cast. Anyone who's officially been cast in the Justice League film, you have to keep them in. And the third and final rule for this round is that you must include one character who we've not seen on screen yet in the DC Extended Universe. So those are the 3 rules, and that's the first round. So go on, Adam, let's hear your pitch.
Alright, guys, so I'll start off with my Justice League pitch. Here we go. Imagine the opening. Gotham City. It's night. We see a warehouse. We zoom into the warehouse. It's full of thugs. Like, bad guys. We see the generic bad guys. They're unloading guns from a cart. They're loading guns, grenades, everything. And we just see them, bit of chat between them, talking about something, maybe, mentions of the Batman. So we know that we're in Gotham City. Then we rise up above where everyone's standing to the rafters, and we see Batman. He's hiding there. Ben Affleck in his Batman outfit from Batman v Superman, the exact same outfit, the normal one, not the one he fights Superman in. Zoom back down to the thugs, and then we see suddenly batarangs flying in, smoke grenade. Batman jumps down. He's taking out the thugs. This is a cool, awesome fight scene directed by Zack Snyder. It's going to be fantastic. Great fight scene. Batman takes out these thugs. Then we see he gets to the last thug, the only guy left standing. He grabs him, gets him up against the wall, and he's shouting at him, "I want to know more about these boxes. The ones that have been appearing in Gotham. Who's placing them? What are they for?" And the guy's saying to him, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And then Batman's asking, like, "Who's involved? Is it Joker? Is it Riddler? Is it Penguin? Who are you working for? What are these boxes?" And the guys telling him, "No, I don't know. I have no idea." Then suddenly we see like a red dot appear on the bad guy's head, and his head, something just comes flying and hits him like straight in the face, like a laser blast or something, and the guy's just destroyed. Batman just leaps out of the way and uses bat cape to block the explosion. Then we see from a distance some kind of beast like hanging from where Batman was previously. Batman's looking at it, really confused. Then it starts firing at Batman, so he's jumping out of the way. He tries throwing batarangs back, but it's not really having much effect. Then the beast jumps down and grabs Batman, and they get into a kind of melee fight. Then as Batman thinks that the beast gets Batman down on the ground, he thinks he's going to be beaten. Then something comes out, hits the beast, it goes flying, strikes the wall. Batman gets up and he looks around. He sees the thing, and it's stuck to the wall with a trident. A trident. And then he looks around, and another guy walks in. Another guy walks in from the side of the warehouse. It's Aquaman. It's Jason Momoa's Aquaman in the full Aquaman armor. He walks in and he pulls the trident out of the beast, then stabs it once again just to make sure it's dead. And then Batman looks at him. He doesn't really. He's seen Aquaman on the files we saw in Batman v Superman, but he's not really. He doesn't know who he is or what he's all about. So he looks at him. Aquaman stares at him and he says, "You're not going to get any information out of these guys. They don't really talk about the boxes." And Batman's like, "What do you know about them?" Aquaman Aquaman says, not much, but what I do know, I can't tell you, I have to show you. Then that scene ends, that's our opening scene. We go into the credits. So it's just going to be a generic credit sequence, blah blah, this is Ben Affleck, starring Ben Affleck, Jason Momoa, blah blah blah. Some like kind of CGI thing in the background, it's not really important. Then the screen goes black again. We open up on a scene in space. It's just we see planets and stars, and it's going to be pretty clear it's not the Milky Way, we're not looking at Earth. Then the bottom left, we see the thing, planet. Oh, alright, we can see where this is going. We can see where this is going. Then we zoom in, and we got, we have, like, some great, huge buildings, like, really coolly designed, like, obviously, going to be a lot of green. You can tell where this is going. The buildings, how the buildings are built.
Jeez, I wonder who that could be.
And then we zoom in, and we see someone standing. We only see him from behind at first, and he's standing in front of, like, a council of, obviously, the Guardians. And he's saying that, he's talking about, we need to go and help them. We can't just leave them like this to the fate they've had, the fate that's coming to them. And the Guardians saying, no, we can't intervene. We've already lost too many to this battle. We can't lose any more lanterns to this war. And he's arguing like, no, we need to do this. We need to fight. And they tell him, no, we can't. And then we see the guy turn around. It's obviously Hal Jordan. This is Green Lantern. This is the home of the Green Lantern Corps. Hal Jordan starts walking away from them. He's walking out this building. Hal Jordan, I think at the moment I want to play. I think I'm going to go for an older Green Lantern and put Nathan Fillion in, because you know a lot of people have wanted to see him as Green Lantern for a long time, and he was just so fantastic in Justice League War. So we see Nathan Fillion. He walks out, and then another guy, maybe one of his friends, like an alien lantern, comes up to him. He's like, "Hal, you know, where you going? What's happening?" And Hal just looks at him. He says, "I'm going home." Anyway, yeah. So then we go back to Earth, and then we go inside a. This is gonna be like a bat submarine. Yeah, I'm sure Batman's got a submarine somewhere. You know, some kind of submersible vehicle. He's in that, and we've got Batman with Aquaman and Wonder Woman, and he's taking them to Atlantis. So he's going to show them what he's found, basically. So he takes them to Atlantis, and he basically shows them around Atlantis a little bit, and he finds these boxes, which he says that, you know, we found them around Atlantis. Batman says, you know, we found them in Gotham, Metropolis, a few other cities, Coast City maybe, Central City, other places around the country. Aquaman said he found them in Atlantis. Wonder Woman found them in Themyscira and some other places, you know, not in America. And then, so basically they're thinking that, they're kind of pointing together that, you know, someone's planted these, it's some kind of worldwide thing. It's not just the Gotham villains trying to, you know, blow the city or something. So they're kind of thinking that maybe there's some kind of threat coming that we need to kind of get together and stop. So then they decide that, you know, they're going to need fighters to fight this threat. So we already have Batman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman. But we know Batman already knows about Cyborg, the Flash. And so then the middle part of the film is him assembling the Justice League, as you see it probably seen in the trailers, where he, you know, gets together Flash, Cyborg, and then forms, you know, most of the Justice League, obviously without Superman, because Superman at this point is dead. Okay, so after Batman forms the Justice League, we then have a part of the film where they're all training together, trying to see how strong each of them powers are compared to the other, and trying to make each other better, basically. And Batman's kind of the head of this. He's the Nick Fury of this Avengers movie, essentially. He's looking to get everyone to their best, and, you know, really form together a proper force. Then we have basically they get together, and then we have the third part of the film. Cyborg is because he's made from the technology which we know is from the boxers, which we then discover is through his experiments we discover is Darkseid. So we know Darkseid is coming in this movie. At the third part of the movie, Darkseid arrives to Earth. He uses the boxes as boom tubes, brings his parademons through. We figure out that creature that attacked Batman at the beginning was a parademon. We have the parademons come through, the Justice League come together with, you know, human resistance to fight Darkseid. They're struggling really a lot at first against the parademons and things, but then we have Green Lantern arrives just at the time. He comes to Earth, helps them out, they fight the parademons. Looks like they're doing okay until they come up against Darkseid himself. Now, both Flash and Green Lantern, it's going to play out a little bit like, you've seen probably in a lot of adaptations where they both think that, they're pretty tough, they can take on pretty much anything. They both try individually to take on Darkseid and fail. Then we have Batman. Then we have Batman come in, and he's like, "No, come on, guys, we need to work together. This has to be, tactics, strategy. If we work together, we can do this. We've all got unique abilities. We can do this." So they come together, Justice League. They all go at Darkseid, and they fail. Batman gets knocked back miles by just one punch from Darkseid. Flash is not even fast enough to avoid Darkseid's attacks. Green Lantern's shields can't hold up to him. None of their attacks are doing anything. Wonder Woman's sword breaks on Darkseid's skin. Cyborg's blaster does nothing, and Darkseid's just too tough. They can't even together, the entire Justice League, they can't beat Darkseid. Okay, so the whole Justice League goes against Darkseid. They all fail. We have everyone going at him, and Batman suddenly grabs Barry Allen before he's about to go back in and fight Darkseid, and he says to him, "Allen, listen, we can't win this. We're gonna lose. I can tell. We've all hit him together, we're not strong enough. We needed Superman. He could have been here, he could have fought, he could have won. But obviously Superman's dead, so Barry Allen's looking at him thinking, what? How does that matter? Well, Superman's already dead, we can't save him." And Batman says, "No, listen, we can't save him, but you can. You can win this fight, Barry Allen. You can win this because you can go back and save Superman." And obviously, Barry Allen, he doesn't really know what he's talking about. But while they were training, Batman was doing all this analysis and looking at everyone's powers, and he figured out that, also from, what he saw in his dream sequence in Batman vs. Superman, he figures out that, it was the Flash who went back in time to warn him, to tell him about Superman. And he's basically saying that that in that bit when Batman vs. Superman, where he said, Lois Lane, she's the key to save Superman, because in that last fight when they fight Darkseid where Superman dies, it's Lois Lane he goes to save to get the spear, which then he kills Darkseid with. So Batman figures out the Flash, he has to go back and he has to save Superman. And our last scene we see is just the Justice League without the Flash going at Darkseid, and he grabs Wonder Woman and kills her. He grabs the Flash and he grabs Green Lantern, and he crushes his ring. And then he's destroying the Justice League, and we just see Batman running at him, and then the Flash running in the opposite direction, and he just disappears suddenly, and he goes into the time stream to go back and save Superman. And the last scene we see is just the Justice League defeated, and Darkseid standing triumphant, and that is the end of Justice League Part 1.
Wow. I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that, but yeah, I really like the way you ended it with Batman sending Flash back. But so you're not having Superman in your movie at all?
So no, in this Justice League movie, Superman will not be in it.
And no Lois Lane or anything? No Perry White?
We will see. We may see little bits, but they're not integral to the story. So we may see flashbacks of Superman, little bits, especially at the end when Batman's thinking back and he thinks, oh, well, Superman could win this fight. We're going to see little flashbacks of Superman, so he is going to be in the movie, but he's not actually taking part in the real-time action at this moment.
Okay.
So, should we move on to yours?
Alright, so Justice League Part 1. The film starts with Batman infiltrating, some laboratory, and there's loads of missiles and lasers shooting at him, because he's obviously activated all these security protocols. And so just some crazy action sequence, and then you switch over to Wonder Woman fighting a whole bunch of Atlanteans, and then you switch back to Batman, you switch back to Wonder Woman, and you just back and forth between the two sequences. Obviously Batman infiltrating the laboratory, Wonder Woman fighting the Atlanteans, and after all the transitions, you transition to just a door, and Bruce Wayne rings a doorbell, and the door opens, and Flash opens it, or Barry Allen, Ezra Miller, opens the door, and Bruce punches him in his gut. Bruce Wayne punches him in his gut, and he'll just be like, sorry, please cooperate, or some one-liner like that. And then him and Diana will walk in, Wonder Woman, obviously not dressed as Wonder Woman. They just walk into the apartment, and that's where the opening sequence ends. And then you just have Justice League, the title screen opening up. Justice League Part 1. Okay, then after that we switch over to the planet Apocalypse, and you see Steppenwolf and another general reporting to Darkseid. You don't see Darkseid, but you see you see a glove, you see a hand, you see his shoe, you see him from the back, but basically Darkseid is there, and probably have just Steppenwolf just giving some sort of report to him. Now we transition back to the opening sequence with Wonder Woman storming, against the Atlanteans. And now you have her speaking to Aquaman about needing help. Our league is forming, need help from the nobility. Aquaman's just being incredibly rude, he's just not cooperating, He'd be like, daughter of Athena, why should I pledge allegiance to you and this league? Why should I fight alongside man? They're filthy vermin, they're not worthy of me, I'm king of Atlantis. And just being very, just very arrogant and rude. But eventually he agrees to join with her, and he says, on one condition, I'll agree to join you. He goes, I have a test, I need to see that these humans are worthy of working with me. Then we switch over to the laboratory scene, and you have Batman, and now that he's through to, he's escaped past all the security protocols, you're starting to see all of Cyborg's logo on the wall and everything, and he sees a bunch of Omega symbols as well. And then as he's walking through, there's a computer which he presses to turn on, and there's a pre-recorded video of Cyborg's dad on the screen, and he's warning him about his son, and he goes, he's the gate of evil, but he's still my son, protect him, or something like that. Then the power cuts out everywhere, and there's a light coming from down the corridor, which Batman follows, and he finds Cyborg and turns him on. So then after that we transition back to Barry's house, where Bruce has just punched him in the stomach, and Bruce and Diana walk in, and Barry's like, oh dude, what the hell, man, Bruce Wayne just punched me. And Bruce punches him again, and then as he's squaring up to Bruce Wayne, Diana steps in front of him, and he gets nervous, because there's just this insanely hot woman just in front of him. And then Bruce punches him again, and he says, I'm sure you can dodge these if you want. And Barry Allen's like, yo, what the hell, man, stop punching me. And Diana probably says something like, oh, he's being stubborn, or something like that. And then Bruce Wayne would be like, okay, looks like he doesn't care about his own well-being. And then he noticed he's probably got, a nice TV cinema system set up, and he goes, oh, that's a nice cinema system. So he'll just pick up a mantelpiece and throw it and just break the TV. And Barry was still not doing anything. He's like, he's just shocked. He's like, yo, what the hell are you doing, man? You're breaking all my stuff. And Bruce is like, wow, you're really being careful with your identity, aren't you? At which point Cyborg will walk in, and he'll be like, let's get to business. And Bruce is like, not yet. Mr. Allen's holding off on one of our guests. Maybe we should try a different approach or something. And he tells Cyborg that, oh, look, Mr. Allen broke his stereo. Do you think you could perhaps salvage some of his music and give us a little atmosphere? At which point, Cyborg will download his music. I'm not sure if there's ever been Cyborg downloading music, but I'm pretty sure he can do that. So yeah, he does that, and he'll set up some atmosphere. He'll play one of his songs. So at this point, just in Barry Allen's apartment, it's just total carnage. You just have some loud music playing. You have Wonder Woman, stripping off into her Wonder Woman clothes. You have Batman throwing things, breaking everything everywhere. At which point, Barry Allen finally snaps, has enough, and he transforms into the Flash, cleans up his apartment, tells everyone, that's enough. And then, everything's at a standstill. And then suddenly the apartment starts flooding. And, Barry, he's like, no, what the hell is going on? And Aquaman appears. And now suddenly the tone becomes very serious again. Aquaman's like, these are the pathetic humans you want me to work with? And he's like, oh, daughter of Athena, this is, your word has taken a great blow or something. How do you expect these vermin to retrieve my trident? Which was the initial condition that he agreed to work with. To which point Bruce Wayne says, well, what a great opportunity to see what, the Flash can do. And he goes, Cyborg's going to send you these coordinates. All you have to do is retrieve this trident for Aquaman. And the Flash will probably say something cheesy like, fine, I'll be back in a flash or something like that. At which point the rest of the league is standing there waiting for him to return. And then, maybe, just for the sake of humour, Bruce will probably turn to Cyborg and be like, what other songs has he got there? And then another song will come. But, that's just on the side. Anyways, so all you see is the Flash returning with the trident, running back to them, and he goes, "You got a little issue. They weren't too keen to give it back, and you have these four huge fire trolls chasing him down the road." I'm not sure exactly how the thing works in there, but I think I'm just going to take the cinema sin for that. The fire trolls somehow transporting back following Flash. This is the first chance you get to see all the Justice League using their powers to take out the fire trolls, right? And then, Cyborg's probably got music going from Barry Allen's stereo. So now at the end of that scene, we have another scene in Apocalypse of them destroying some random planet. It's definitely not Earth, just another planet. But the planet is mounting a comeback, starting to fight back, mounting a response, and they seem to be pushing back the parademons. And then you just get a glimpse of, just Darkseid using an Omega Beam to just, decimate the planet. So when that scene's over, we go back to the Justice League meeting, and all the heroes are here, and Batman, he's basically briefing them of, basically what's happening. Something is coming. Someone is coming. And that's why we're all assembled there together. The boom tubes, basically, are what's basically going to bring them. At which point Cyborg tells them, I have a boom tube. And Aquaman's like, why don't we just kill this puny human then? And that will solve all our problems. But obviously, because Batman's not going to let that happen, mainly because of that scene you saw with his father. And, Batman's got father issues. We already had mother issues in the last film. So he's going to have his father issues this time around. He doesn't want to do that. But he says instead that he knows what's coming. He knows, basically, if we're not strong enough to defeat him, we have another proposal, basically. We can give Lex Luthor, he's saying he can bring back Superman, but we don't know if he can be trusted. So there's a whole argument going on, and basically what's going to happen is eventually Steppenwolf, he'll come through the boom tubes, and the Justice League, they'll fight Steppenwolf and some parademons, and they'll know that, basically how difficult this fight was, that we do need Superman. So we only just by the skin of our teeth got Steppenwolf to retreat, and he's going to be back. We need Superman somehow. So they agree to Lex Luthor, and basically Lois Lane, she's pregnant with Superman's child. So they agree to give her to Lex Luthor so he can get Superman DNA and recreate a Superman. But what happens is they do manage to recreate him, but it turns out that it's not the same Superman. It's not all good. It's kind of bizarre, the way it's acting. And basically it ends up being Bizarro. And so the third act of the film is basically Superman and Bizarro and Steppenwolf basically fighting against the Justice League. At which point Batman tells Flash, I didn't want to do this, but you're going to have to go back in time and try and get
Don't
Superman.
steal my ending.
No, that's the only way you
Dickhead.
can bring back Superman. Like, there's no other way to bring back Superman. So I have to do that. No, but it doesn't end there. It doesn't end at a cliffhanger. In my one, he retrieves Superman, but as he's returning from the Speed Force, you see what happens. So instead of this time, instead of them giving Lois Lane over to Lex Luthor to experiment on, Lex Luthor, he basically kidnaps Lois Lane, or something. He'll get Superman's DNA somehow, and he creates Bizarro nonetheless. So when we're back in present day, there's still the Justice League versus Steppenwolf and Bizarro, which is this time we have the Flash and Superman returning together, and then this is when you see the final showcase of the true power of the Justice League, and they do eventually manage to defeat all the parademons and Steppenwolf and Bizarro, but it doesn't end there, because now they know that Steppenwolf, he was just the first battalion, he was just here to scope out what Earth is about, and Darkseid is still coming, and then you suddenly start to hear the drums. The Darkseid, the Justice League is all there, back to back, hearing the drums, and that's where it ends, setting up nicely for Justice League Part 2. You hear the drums, but you don't, obviously Darkseid's not coming, but you just hear the drums,
And
faintly. Yeah, that basically Darkseid's going to be here soon.
Alright,
So what do you think?
That was interesting. Love how you still stole part of mine and just
Come on, man. There's no
fitted
other
it
way.
nicely into yours.
There's no
But
other way for
apart-
anyone to bring back Superman.
Apart from that, it was really good. It was interesting. Okay, so in yours, do you just see Flash go back in time and then he just reappears with Superman?
No, so basically it's
Is it Superman from the past? who he
No,
brings
no, no,
with
no,
him?
no. What happens is, I was probably a bit unclear about that. What happens is, so when he goes back in time, the sequence of, it's not going to be too long, the sequence of him going back in time. But what you do get is you see the scene of, in Batman vs Superman, after the dream sequence when Bruce wakes up and he sees the Flash and he's like, "You were right, Bruce. Lois is the key." That's because when they're in the meeting and they're deciding over whether or not to hand her over to, Lex Luthor to create Bizarro.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's Batman was against that, so he doesn't but eventually they do obviously hand him over. So what happens is he goes back in time, and now when he's coming back to the present, you see as he's running through the Speed Force or whatever, you see like flashes of how in this timeline how Bizarro was created basically. So you see Batman refusing to hand Lois Lane over, but Lex Luthor still somehow getting Superman's DNA. So and then he returns, and then obviously so now Bizarro is still a thing, Steppenwolf's still a thing, and Superman, he's not from the past, but he's just been
It's an alternate timeline.
Yeah, it's an alternate timeline. So Superman, he had just been knocked back, but then he comes back. You just see him coming back into the fight. Basically, it's not Superman from the past. It's in this timeline Superman.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I like it. That's good.
It's not too confusing, is it?
A little bit. It's not. And obviously you had your little cinema sin in there.
Yeah, there's no way for me to showcase the Justice League's powers without the Fire Trolls coming back. So I think I'm just going to take the sin. That's the sin there. I'm going to take the sin counter.
Alright, that's good.
Alright guys, so there are our first ever movie pitches for StoryBoardEm. Now remember to like, comment and subscribe. Let us know down in the comment section below who you think had the better pitch, what parts you liked, what parts you didn't like, and we will hopefully see you on the next episode.
Alright guys, so next episode we'll have some new features, such as rounds where we don't know what the movie pitch is going to be, and it's a surprise, so we have no prep time. And we've also got a special roulette round where we're going to have topics on a wheel where we spin the wheel and you have to use the topic, use whatever actors are given to you, and make your own film on the spot. So hope to see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
This is StoryBoardEm signing out.